Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Gorilla F. Michael Fledger alongside Anthony Florio, and we welcome you to the recap of Money in the Bank. And we will also be previewing Heatwave from NXT going down tomorrow night. It's a There's a lot to talk about, guys, here tonight because of the fact that we had a bombshell announcement that was dropped earlier tonight as we speak right now. The man who dropped that bombshell is currently in the press conference talking to the media as we speak. Um, you know what? I'm just going to get the cat out of the bag. It's John Cena. John Cena has announced that he will be retiring from in ring competition in 2025. John Cena has actually announced during the press conference right now, and this is breaking as we speak, that he's going from January to December, 35 to 40 events right now that he's looking to try to do. So he will be at Rumble, he will be at Chamber, he will be at WrestleMania, and it will be sporadic. 40 events, possibly, for the greatest of all time, John Cena. That means he'll most likely be at SummerSlam. He wants to go from beginning to end uh, as a part timer, 40 events. Anthony Florio, it first off, it was a surprise to see John Cena. Then we got dropped with that nuke that Cena says that he is retiring, and we didn't know at the time. Was it tonight? Was it gonna be what was going on? Then he alluded that Royal Rumble was going to be his last. Survivor that his thing was going to be his last. That WrestleMania was going to be his last. Now with the latest news we're getting, 35 to 40 events, and he's saying that this goodbye is going to be a year-long goodbye. He wants to go from January to December. Give me your quick thoughts on the greatest of all time is going to be hanging it up in 2025.
Out of nowhere announcement indeed. And yeah, I noticed his new shirt. I noticed the 2025 on his shirt. So I was like, okay, this has to be sometime in 2025 that this is going to happen. And well, I mean, as the old saying goes, nothing, all good things must come to an end. Nothing lasts forever. We knew that this was going to happen eventually, and well, I am hoping and praying that come 2025, that Providence here will end up being one of those destinations. I am hopeful that. I don't know if WWE will come back here, later in 2024, or if August the 26th is just a one-off for this year, and then we'll see about next year. But I certainly hope that the John Cena retirement farewell tour in 2025 makes a stop here. I'm hoping. I don't care if it's a Raw. I don't care if it's a SmackDown. I don't care if it's a pay-per-view. I'm hoping that we get to have our moment. That we have our chance to say thank you for everything you have done for the business. So I mean, what a career. I mean, he's done everything there is to do. 16-time world heavyweight champion, 5-time United States champion, multi-time tag team champion, 2-time winner of the Royal Rumble in 2008 and 2013. 2008, of course, the most unexpected, when he had that surprise comeback after he was supposed to be out for several months and literally blew the roof off of Madison Square Garden that night. And all the history he has made, all the lives he has touched, the over 600 or so wishes he's granted with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, more than anybody, and the effect that he has had on the business and pop culture in general, a very polarizing figure, to say the very least. And, he's the GOAT for a reason. He's their Tom Brady, if you really think about it. And, he is definitely going to be missed in this business, and we wish him well in his retirement endeavors. And 2025 just became an interesting year. I'm sure we're going to be seeing him on Raw on Netflix on occasion, and maybe we'll get some SmackDowns on USA. I don't know. We'll see. But I am hoping that one of those stops in 2025 swings through here, whether it's a Raw, whether it's a SmackDown, whether it's a pay-per-view. I don't care. I am hoping that we get one last chance to say thank you to John Cena for everything he has done and for all the memories he has given us all these years. And I certainly want all of us. I want to be there. MF, I want you to be there. Bullock, make it our traditional boys' night, like we always do when they come here. Of course, August 26th, no exception. But I really hope that he comes back here one last time. And if he does, I want us to be there so we can share our thanks for the memories and share our gratitude and for all the lives he's touched and everything he's done for this business. And
now the big question is that now that we found out it's 35-40, what cities are gonna be the lucky ones to get it? Because not every city. Because remember, you're talking about Monday Night Raw doing about 52 weeks a year. SmackDown does 52 weeks a year. The PLE's 12 a year. So that means those are going to be sporadic dates. So pay-per-views, you already know that's 12 out of the 40 that Cena's going to do. But what particular Raws will get hit? What particular SmackDowns might get John Cena?
Maybe house shows.
Yeah, and maybe even house shows. You never know, because house shows has been killing it lately. Sold out. Yeah, they've been killing it lately. So now the big question becomes is where do we go? And if we find out Cena's going to be there, those tickets are going to be through the roof. So that's the thing, is if Cena is advertised for that event, it's almost a given, but we'll see. All right. I didn't want to take too much time out of that because we got a lot to talk about, but it needed to be addressed.
Absolutely.
Like, that was one of those that had to be addressed. That was a big elephant in the room. So here we go. We start out with Money in the Bank with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. The contract on the line. And we was Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, Chad Gable, Drew McIntyre, Jey Uso, and LA Knight, the winner of the men's Money in the Bank, and now gets the contract to fight anytime, any place, anywhere up to 1 year. The Scottish psychopath Drew McIntyre gets the briefcase. 16 minutes and 30 seconds. A solid opener. A great match. At the end of the day, it was exactly what it needed it to be. Great body of work. All the guys were working hard. It was definitely there for the taking. And Drew McIntyre getting the briefcase, in one way, it makes sense. In another way, it did not. Because of the fact that the rivalry with Drew and CM Punk. You knew that was going to be the main focal point down the line. Did Drew need the briefcase? Did Drew need that moment? Apparently, WWE said yes. I felt no. That you totally just shafted Jey Uso and, more importantly, Chad Gable. And you could even make an argument that LA Knight just got robbed. You could have given a more deserving guy the opportunity to get the Money in the Bank. And don't get me wrong, Drew McIntyre is worthy of the Money in the Bank. He deserves the opportunity. A lot of people may feel like he got screwed over at Clash at the Castle. Okay, fine, I'll give you that. But with the rivalry that was going on, you almost had a feeling of how this night was going to go the rest of the way. But with Drew getting Money in the Bank, we'll hold off on everything else. But until then, Anthony Florio, it's yours. This was about a 3.5-star bout, by the way.
Yeah. Surprisingly, yeah, I'll tell you what. This was a standard Money in the Bank match. The stronger wrestlers provided a base for the high flyers to hit risky spots, and everyone took their fair share of damage from the ladders. We didn't get anything groundbreaking, but this had enough well-performed spots to keep fans entertained from bell to bell. One thing that stuck out was how nobody felt more dominant than anyone else. Everybody had their moment to shine and their fingers on the briefcase at one point. Andrade and Carmelo Hayes had some of the most impressive moments, but everybody looked good. McIntyre may have won, but Andrade and Carmelo Hayes were the standouts here. They created several highlight reel moments together and separately. And the way Andrade's leg hit a ladder when he hit a springboard leg drop looked painful. He avoided falling onto the ladder, but his leg slammed into it after the initial impact. Andrade's reverse Spanish fly on Carmelo Hayes was amazing. Both men executed it perfectly. The sunset flip from Andrade to Carmelo Hayes onto a ladder was awesome. And I get where you're coming from, MF. Here's the thing, though. LA Knight is all but locked into a U.S. title program with Logan Paul. And I think, and you know, we're going to get that at SummerSlam, very likely. And I believe on that night, LA Knight will become the United States heavyweight champion. As far as Jey Uso goes, you know, eventually he's going to be tied into the bloodline civil war whenever they're ready to start that. Andrade, obviously, no plans for him. Carmelo Hayes, too soon. You know, he's got a lot of life left in him, and I mean, they had no choice. I mean, and Gable, I mean, that would have been something, but he's obviously got a thing with the Wyatt Six, and you know, got to keep an eye on that. So the only logical choice was Drew McIntyre, like it or not. And Bullock and I had this when we did the preview last night, and I'm not at all surprised he won it. So 3.5, somewhere between 3.5 to 4. Is my rating for this. So not much more to say here except MF. Let's move on to the battle for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship.
Yes, indeed, it was for the Intercontinental Heavyweight title. Sami Zayn putting the title on the line against Braun Breaker, winner of the bout, 13 minutes, 15 seconds, and still the Intercontinental Champion, Sami Zayn. Anthony, it's yours.
3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. Bit of a surprise here. I got to be honest with you. But I'll give props to Michael Bullock. I mean, he actually had Sami Zayn going over. I thought Braun Breaker was going to win the title, and MF, I know even you.
I actually had Braun winning it as well. I was pleasantly surprised that Sami won it. Yes.
Hoodwinked. Yeah. As expected, the Canadian fans gave Sami Zayn a warm welcome, and he looked genuinely touched as he soaked it in. Breaker showed off his power by easily hurling Zayn after their first lockup. And he also showed off some speed with a quick go behind and a second throw. And he made it seem like he was toying with Sami. So the champion slapped him to show he wasn't intimidated. Having to follow a 6-person ladder match would be difficult for anybody. But these two did a good job making sure they were not lost in the shuffle. Sami Zayn is one of the best underdog performers in the business. So he made Braun Breaker look even more dangerous than usual by selling every move as if he was close to giving up. The longer this went on, the more it proved that Breakker is no one-trick pony. He's a versatile performer who is going to have a long career if he stays healthy. Unfortunately for him, this was not his night. The underdog from the underground hit a haluva kick and pinned Breakker to retain the IC title in a performance that made both men look like stars. Sami Zayn's first moonsault to the floor almost ended in disaster, but he managed to save himself. The second moonsault Sami tried from the barricade later in the match was saved by Breakker, but it almost ended with Sami landing on his head. And Braun Breaker's Frankensteiner is a wild display of agility and athleticism, especially when he pops up to the top rope like it's nothing. 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. Surprise outcome. I thought Breakker was going to win the title, but no, Sami somehow, some way finds a way to win again. So major props. So not much more to say. MF, who's next for Sami? I don't know now.
Maybe they run it back with Breakker again. Maybe Breakker gets another opportunity. Maybe they run it back with Chad Gable one more time, even though I know Sami's like, nah, you're done. Maybe Gable gets the shot, and then this time he gets the belt. I don't know. There's just so much there's so much doubts and questions about what Sami's gonna do with that Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. But oh my God, what a night for him! A great moment for Sami, successfully defending the title. Congratulations to the underdog from the underground, and still the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, Sami Zayn. All right, so next up we had was the triple threat for the World Heavyweight title, as it was Damian Priest versus Seth Rollins. But midway through the bout, Drew McIntyre showed up and cashed in the Money in the Bank right then and there. It turned into a triple threat. Winner of the bout, 14 minutes and 40 seconds. And still the World Heavyweight Champion, El Campeón, Damian Priest. He did it. However, CM Punk became the ultimate difference maker in this bout, because he showed up, he basically jumped Drew McIntyre. But remember, the minute it went to triple threat rules, everything was off the table. There are no DQs, there are no countouts, pinfall, submission, only way to win the bout. And on top of that, Damian Priest pinned Drew McIntyre to win the match, even though you can make an argument Seth Rollins should be the World Heavyweight Champion right now, because Rod Zapata, brother, you effed up.
Again.
You absolutely, positively mucked up so damn bad. I'm sorry. If you're a Seth freaking Rollins fan, you got every right to be pissed right now. A, that was a 3. B, that probably the timing of the miscue maybe screwed up the whole plans for at the end. Now, I don't know if that was because Priest couldn't get the shoulder up. Maybe he made a mistake. I don't know. Maybe it was Damian. Maybe Damian got hurt, or maybe that move stunned Damian's body that he couldn't do the kick out. Whatever the case may be, Seth Rollins has a gripe, but here's the problem. Because of the decree that they made, Seth Rollins is now out of the running. He cannot challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship ever again. As long as Damian Priest is still El Campeón, he's out. But because of CM Punk, Punk did everything that he did. In the fact, I don't think he realized what happened with the Seth Rollins effect, because Rollins was pissed, and he had every right to be pissed at CM Punk. CM Punk is making more enemies by the minute right now, and that's absolutely absurd. Damian Priest, if you look on his face, he was not happy the way he won the match, but You got to be, there's a couple of ways that you got to think about it. Priest, you won. You're still the world heavyweight champion. Yes, it wasn't the way you wanted it to win because you're thinking about the seed of doubt. You're thinking about, man, I should have had a more clear-cut victory. Look, a win is a win and you take it any way you get it. But let me tell you, my friend, you are very fortunate, very lucky that Rod Zapata screwed up because if that 3 would have gone down, we would have had a new world heavyweight champion and you would have been kicked out of Judgment Day. So now the storyline goes this way. Priest is one. He gets to go, but here's the problem. He's now got to go after Gunther. Gunther versus Priest for the World Heavyweight title at SummerSlam is all but confirmed. There is no other event leading into SummerSlam. This is your main event for Monday Night Raw at SummerSlam. Damian Priest, El Campeón versus the King General, Gunther, for the heavyweight championship of the world. This was a 3.5-star bout. I could have given it higher, but there was so much shenanigans and screw-ups and miscues that I can't go any more higher than that. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
Man, even though both competitors performed well, there was something off about this match. It may have been a lack of buildup in the feud, or it may have been the predictability of how it all played out. Whatever it was, it kept this match from reaching its full potential. After Rollins hit a Falcon Arrow, referee Rod Zapata declared a 2 count for what was clearly a pin. The crowd began booing loudly until McIntyre showed up and handed his briefcase to Rod Zapata to cash in and join the match. Bell rang. They all started fighting. Now it was a triple threat. Nobody was disqualified when CM Punk showed up and attacked McIntyre with a chair. He obliterated the Scottish Warrior and then grabbed the world title to knock him out with one last shot. The shenanigans toward the end added some drama to the situation and helped make this bout a lot more exciting. Priest retained. Rollins is protected by not taking the pin, and the feud between Punk and McIntyre may now include the Visionary after he expressed anger toward the best in the world for getting involved. Rollins was getting over 100 decibels from the crowd during his entrance, according to the graphic on the screen. Before the match, Finn Balor had a suspicious look on his face after Damian Priest left the Judgment Day's clubhouse. Rollins' Hurricanrana counter to a chokeslam looked really good. Rollins tried to catch and slam Priest when he jumped off the middle rope, but it didn't go as planned. Man, I'm not at all surprised. I had a feeling Damian Priest was gonna find a way to walk out still with the title. I'm not at all surprised. I had a feeling. I learned my lesson from Clash at the Castle. I very easily could have said Rollins is winning the title here, but you notice this time I did not take the bait like I did last month. But hey, here's the thing. Look at it like this. Rollins was not technically pinned. So it was McIntyre who was pinned. So in hindsight, Seth Rollins has a very legitimate gripe. So we're going to have to keep an eye on Raw this upcoming Monday night. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I wanted Seth Rollins to win because let me ask you this, MF. Seth Rollins versus Gunther. I don't know about you, but to me, that sounds like a SummerSlam worthy main event match, don't you?
No, it definitely would, and definitely no doubt about it. But I mean, there's a lot that we can decipher. I mean, I think Gunther versus Damian Priest is going to be a heck of a match. But yeah, I mean, Rollins versus Gunther would have been like a David versus Goliath. Because I kind of feel like that's how it would have been. Even though I think, if you think about it, Priest versus Gunther is almost evenly matched because the height, the strength, I mean, it's almost a coin flip. Even though I think a lot of people would say Gunther is definitely the odds-on favorite,
Yes.
Especially if you're going up against Damian Priest.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's no doubt about it. I mean, that's going to be a very tough title defense, but anything can happen. But I'm with you. I think that would have been a hell of a match if it would have been Rollins versus Gunther.
Well, we got to keep an eye on Raw on Monday night in Ottawa. We really do. Because, like I said, Rollins has a legitimate gripe. He was not pinned. So, who knows? Maybe and you said it yourself with Damian Priest being upset. Who knows? Maybe Damian Priest will say because of the shenanigans that happened, you deserve a rematch. And maybe we get a rare world title match on Raw Monday night. You never know. So we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on it, like I said.
But I kind of feel like the Judgment Day themselves, especially Finn Balor, I don't think he's going to allow that. I think they're going to want to say, nah, man, you blew it. You gotta heat on the decree and everything else. If Priest goes against them and says, no, that this is my call and I'm going to make it, something tells me that, and I hate to say this, but I think there's going to be a moment there that if they make that decree, I think Balor screws over Priest and Seth does become the heavyweight champion of the world. And then we actually might get Gunther versus Rollins at SummerSlam, and that also might open the door for Balor and
Priest.
And Priest.
Balor and Priest. And don't forget McIntyre and Punk also.
Oh yeah.
This pretty much all but confirmed it.
Right. Oh yeah.
And if you notice the start of the post show, did you ever see Drew McIntyre that angry before?
Oh, he was furious, man.
Did you see how psychotic he went?
Oh yeah.
So psychotic that he accidentally decked Adam Pearce.
Yeah.
And you know how angry Adam Pearce can get.
Oh yeah.
Dating back to his ROH days, but nonetheless, I mean, it sets up a lot, and they obviously wanted us to have the hook for Raw. So there's your hook. There's your hook for Ottawa Monday night. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens with it. But oh man, but Punk McIntyre all but confirmed, and Priest versus Gunther. I mean, that's a be a man fight there, no question about it. And but there's that part of me that selfish part of me that really wanted Rollins and Gunther, because that would have been, oh my God, that would have been amazing. But yeah. That's not to say Priest versus Gunther is not going to be amazing, because I think it can be. So, but let's not forget, we've got 4 weeks to build this thing.
Yeah.
And a lot can change in 4 weeks' time. We saw those couple of Survivor Series moments, especially in 2017 when AJ Styles won the WWE Championship from Jinder Mahal, and then Charlotte Flair won the SmackDown Women's Championship from Natalya. So we saw all those twists and turns at the 2017 Survivor Series going into it. So still 4 weeks to build. A lot can change within those next 4 weeks, and I would not be surprised if they do. It's Priest versus Gunther for now, but I still got this feeling in the pit of my stomach that I still think Rollins versus Gunther is somehow going to happen. But we'll see. We'll see. 3.5 stars. NMF. We're about to embark on a women's Money in the Bank ladder match that damn near broke the internet tonight.
Oh yeah, it damn near did. So here we go, guys. The participants in that Money in the Bank ladder match for the women: Chelsea Green, Io Sky, Laura Valkyria, Naomi, Tiffany Stratton, and Zoe Stark. The winner of the bout, 16 minutes, 50 seconds, and the new Miss Money in the Bank. It's Tiffy time. The center of the universe. Tiffany Stratton wins it all. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
I got to be honest here. If not for the main event, I could probably say this was the fight of the night right here. I got to give this in excess of 4 to 4.25. I mean, universal praise for this match, and I could go as far as to call this possibly the greatest women's Money in the Bank ladder match ever. It was that good.
I'll give you that. Yeah, I'll give you that.
This match quickly turned into short sequences with 2 or 3 competitors at a time while everyone else was down at ringside until it was their turn. This setup allowed us to see several different combinations of opponents work together, but it led to a weird pace for several minutes. We saw a lot of good individual spots with little cohesion or reason for most of what we saw. The crowd took a while, but eventually got into it and chanted, "This is awesome," after a few entertaining moments in a row. After the halfway mark, it felt like everything started clicking together more, and this turned into an enjoyable melee that I think outshined the men's match. After Chelsea Green came so close to winning, Stratton pulled down the briefcase to claim the win and the future WWE or Women's World Title opportunity. Io Sky and Lyra Valkyria had a nasty spot with a ladder in the corner, but seemed to be fine to continue with a nice sequence. Zoe hit the back of her head on a ladder during a senton, but kept going without any issue. Valkyria's German suplex from the ladder was awesome because Io sold it so well. Naomi's DDT to Tiffany Stratton was one of the best moments of the match. But how sick was that double table bump that Chelsea took at the end?
Oh my God.
That's exactly what MF said, only in his Joey Styles, "Oh my God" voice. I mean, you heard it. My ears are still ringing from it, but nonetheless. But all kidding aside, unbelievable match. One of the greatest, if not the greatest, women's Money in the Bank ladder match I've seen so far. In excess of 4 to 4.25 stars. Second best fight of the night. They got this one exactly right. I mean, Tiffany was the odds-on favorite. She was rumored for this even several months ago.
Yeah, well before, yeah.
Several months. A lot of dirt sheets, people on social media saying Tiffany's winning it. I took the bait, and we all took the bait on this one, and sure enough, it worked out, and it ended the way we all thought it would. And all I can say is, what Bayley, Nia Jax, SummerSlam, watch out. Enough said. 4 4.25, MF, unbelievable women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Maybe the best one they've done since they started this 7 years ago.
Yeah, no, this was definitely a great. This was a very good, very solid, amazing Money in the Bank ladder match, and it was exactly what it needed it to be. A great match, and the winner was no, there was no surprises on who won this. So yeah, I'm very happy that it was. I'm very happy how it played out. I'm very happy who won. I got nothing bad to say about it. This was, like you said, an excellent main event, or I should say, co-main event. The right person won it. That was a great victory, and Tiffany is now indeed the center of the universe. She gets the golden moment. She gets to fight, and she now gets an opportunity to possibly become the champion, the women's champion. This is where I believe she wins it in SummerSlam. I'm going on that prediction. I'm laying it out on the line right now. I know it's going to be a little bit of a tricky call here.
I agree.
But I do believe after Bayley successfully defends her title, I think Nia loses her mind. I think she goes after. I think she goes after her, and I think Nia absolutely wrecks. She wrecks her in that situation. that's the moment that opens the door for Tiffany to come out and, more importantly, to capture the WWE Women's Championship. And I do believe that once it's all said and done, that we're looking at the next Women's Champion of the world with the center of the universe, Tiffany Stratton, because I do believe Tiffany will get the belt because of winning. She's gonna wait and she's gonna buy her time, but I think once she does, the moment will come, and that's going to be the end game. So that's my thoughts about it. Nothing more to say, Anthony. So we lead us into the main event, which was the Bloodline versus Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton. Bloodline wins it. 24 minutes and 40 seconds. Solo Sikoa pins Cody Rhodes. That's the big story of the night. Championship committee moment, as we've been saying. And more importantly, we now have a new contender for the world title. This was a hell of a match. And this was a great main event. 4.25 to 4.5 stars. The right person won. I don't think there's really much of an argument on that one either. And to me, there's really nothing more to add. Anthony Florio, history made. And yes, we now have a man who gets to fight for the title. Solo Sikoa has made it very clear. He, with that win tonight, he now gets a shot at the gold. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it is yours.
Fight of the night, 4.5 stars. You could tell this was going to get more intense as time went on, so it made sense for them to start with a slow and methodical pace. As soon as Jacob Fatu tagged in for the first time, you could feel a change in the atmosphere, especially after he no-sold the Viper DDT, MF. Your boy's move. One of your boy's signature moves.
Yeah.
When you saw that.
I told you, you never drop a Samoan on their heads. You know that.
Yep. And when he popped up, we actually, usually we only do the Corey and Sean when a big moment or a big surprise happens, like a surprise return or something. When he popped up, we both did it, and MF, you yell out, "What?" And I yell out like Jesse, "No effect." And great moment there. For such a bitter feud, it was surprising how long it took for this to devolve into a huge fight. Solo accidentally knocked out referee Jason Ayers and ended up saving him from being pinned after taking every finisher from the babyface team. Referee was crushed against the steel steps, and Jacob Fatu was put through the announce table. We saw just about everyone hit at least one finisher as they built toward the finish. Referee was tossed back into the ring just in time for Solo Sikoa to pin Cody Rhodes with the Samoan/amniotic spike, as MF would say. There was a lot to like in this match, but it also felt like a repeat of all of the same bloodline tropes we have been seeing for the last few years. At least Solo pinning Cody all but confirms, and it will most likely lead to an undisputed WWE Championship match for the new Tribal Chief at SummerSlam. Michael Cole said WWE had to pull strings to get Jacob Fatu into Canada. I know MF knows that. I know MF knows that story. Jacob Fatu no-selling Randy Orton's Viper DDT was a fun moment. And the way Tonga Loa's head hit the announce table after Cody's Tope Suicida looked and sounded terrible. Hopefully he's okay. 4.5 stars, fight of the night. And I don't know what else there is left for me to say, except let's get into the overall review here. This year's Money in the Bank pay-per-view was mostly predictable, but had a few surprises that helped make it stand out. John Cena's retirement announcement will be a talking point for weeks. Sami Zayn retaining the Intercontinental title against a dominant Braun Breaker in Canada was a feel-good moment, and both Money in the Bank winners felt like appropriate decisions. However, having Drew McIntyre cash in and fail on the same night thanks to CM Punk will be a controversial decision among fans, even if it accomplishes its goal of generating heat for their feud. The botch with Damian Priest failing to kick out of a pin was quickly glossed over. The women's Money in the Bank ladder match had some of the biggest highlights of the whole show and made all 6 competitors look like they deserved to be there. Even if the main event felt like the kind of match we might see on a random Raw or SmackDown, all 6 men worked well together to make it a mostly enjoyable performance. As a whole, this was a good pay-per-view that could have been better with a few small changes. So somewhere in excess of 8 to 8.5 out of 10 for this Money in the Bank show. Triple H released a video as he was arriving at the arena saying he promised a few surprises. And, well, we were hoping for some bombs. We were all thinking bombs. A lot of people were thinking tonight was going to be the night Roman finally came back. But, alas, no Roman. So, perhaps SummerSlam at the earliest possible date. Mm-hmm. So, that's my guess on it. So not much more to say. Somewhere between 8.5 out of 10. MF, your overall thoughts, and then we'll get into our preview of Heatwave.
Yeah, no, 8 out of 10 I think is the right call. This was a solid show. There was really nothing much for us to add here, so we are indeed gonna move right on along. Heatwave is next. There's one pre-show match, and then we have 5 other matches in this. First off, we got is Carmen Petrovic and Ariana Grace. They're going up against Jasmine Nix and JC Jane. That's our pre-show bout. Then for the main card, here we go. Start out with the NXT Tag Team Women's. The NXT Tag Team Championships. I was right the first time around. Axiom and Nathan Frazier versus Chase University. I feel like this is going to be new champions. I don't know why. I know. I've been going against Axiom and Nathan Frazier for a while now, and I've been burned every single time, and I get it. I don't know why, guys, but something tells me the friction between these two men, between Nathan Frazier and Axiom, especially, it looks like Nathan is thinking more differently about different venues, different ideas, different opportunities, and it's starting to weigh on his own tag team partner. I got a weird feeling this might be it. And Chase U might be the ones to end it. So for me, I'm going to go because of the fact that I believe that, and remember, they did leave out the tag team partner or their third member. I think he's going to show up. I think he's going to come out. And I do believe when this is all said and done, I think we're looking at new champions. I don't know why. I just do. So for me, winners and new NXT Tag Team Champions of the World. I'm gonna go out on a major limb here, and I'm calling for Chase University to win the title. So Anthony, it's yours.
Andre Chase and Duke Hudson of Chase University won a tag team turmoil match to become the number 1 contenders for the tag team titles. They will now face Nathan Frazier and Axiom for the NXT Tag Team Championship. Frazier and Axiom have been having internal tensions within them, as Frazier is blamed to be taking the titles and Axiom light over other challengers. And you know what? I agree. Because of the problems between Frazier and Axiom, I do believe that the winners of this match and new NXT Tag Team Champions, Andre Chase and Duke Hudson of Chase University, and the problems between Frazier and Axiom will continue. So, yes, I agree. New champions, Chase U. So, with that, MF, next match, please.
Next match we have is Sol Ruca going one-on-one with Kelani Jordan for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Anthony.
Sol Ruca was the ideal choice for Kelani Jordan to defend her NXT Women's North American Championship. However, she was in compulsion to prove it against Ariana Grace and proved it right to become the rightful challenger for the title at Heatwave. I mean, I got to be honest, this is a tough one to call. My gut is telling me to go with Jordan to retain since she just won the title. But there's another part of me that my heart is telling me to go with Ruca to win the title. But I think they're going to want to keep it on Kelani a little longer. So I'm going to take a chance here and say the winner and still the NXT Women's North American Champion, Kalani Jordan, a potential sleeper fight of the night here. But MF, I would not at all be surprised if Sol Ruka were to win the title here. But I got to go with Kalani for now.
I agree. I also got Kalani winning as well. I just feel like right now it's like you could easily say that it's her moment, but I just feel like right now, yeah, I'm also with you, Anthony, on this one. I think Kalani. Look, for now, it is Kalani Jordan. I think she's gonna win it. I think she's gonna keep the title, and then we go from there. But it could be a number of different ways that this could go. But yeah, I think Kalani is gonna win it as well. Next up, Obafemi versus Wes Lee for the North American Championship. If Wes Lee loses, he does not get another opportunity at that title. I'm sorry, Wes. I think your dream ends here. For me, my prediction: winner, and I think the winner and still North American champion is Obafemi. I got Oba winning it. So Anthony, is yours.
After Wes Lee calling out Obafemi for weeks and getting regretted, Obafemi gave Wes Lee a last title shot for the North American Championship. I do agree, MF. Winner and still the North American champion, Obafemi. However, I'll give you a bold prediction. I think Wes Lee will earn the respect of Obafemi after the match. But for right now, Obafemi's still the North American champion. So not much more to say. MF, let's move on.
All right. Next up, Roxanne Perez versus Lola Vice. And this is for the NXT Women's title. So, Anthony.
Yeah, after weeks of drama, Lola Vice took the NXT Women's Championship to Ava by attacking Roxanne Perez and rightfully claimed her title shot at Heatwave. Both have a lot of vengeance inside them, and they will finally sort it out inside the ring. Of course, Lola cut that emotional / cringe-worthy promo Tuesday night on NXT. And as great as she is, I'm sorry, I don't think it's her time just yet. Winner and still the NXT Women's Champion, it is Roxanne Perez. So I think Lola will get a few hope spots, but I think at the end of the day, Roxanne finds a way to win. So winner and still the NXT Women's Champion, it is Roxanne Perez. MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, I can't disagree with that decision either. I kind of feel like it is going to be Roxanne to win it. So it does lead us to the main event, and that is going to be Trick Williams, Javon Evans, Ethan Page, and Sean Spears, the four-way for the NXT Championship. To me, winner of the bout, and still NXT Champion Trick Williams. I just don't see him losing the belt. I think he's going to overcome the odds. I think he's going to dig down deep. And I think that Trick will get the job done and successfully defend the title. It's not going to be an easy battle. I think we can openly admit that. But I do believe once it's all said and done, we are looking at Trick winning it and keeping the gold. So, Anthony, it is indeed yours.
Trick Williams will be defending his NXT Championship against Javon Evans, who won that 25-man number one contenders battle royale. Ethan Page, who later on that same night defeated Javon Evans. And then this past week on NXT, Sean Spears pinned the champion himself. Since being a four-way match, the championship advantage is nullified, but it's Trick. I mean, there's no way around it. I mean, Trick Wood, the winner and still the NXT champion, Trick Williams. I'm sure each challenger will get a hope spot or two, but I think at the end of the day, we're going to continue whooping that Trick on Tuesday nights. So,
yes,
winner and still the NXT champion, Trick Williams. Not much more to say. Take us home, MF.
All right, we are done, and we will now. Okay, this gets a little interesting because we could come back tomorrow, or we could come back on Monday. What we'll do is, we'll do this. Monday night is Ridiculously Raw. Before we do the Monday Night Raw, we'll do the NXT recap of Heatwave. Then we'll do Raw, and that'll be the show. Wednesday is Wednesday Night Madness, NXT, the fallout from Heatwave, and we'll also have AEW. Then I believe sometime next week we'll actually have to do some other stuff. We'll get it all in, guys, so don't worry. We'll keep you posted on the rest of the stuff. But until then, for Anthony Foyer, I'm Michael Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you all on Monday.
Goodbye.